Okay, it's a great task, and it seems I have so much to say, but unfortunately, it is time consuming, and that is why I missed a deadline. And at last, I'm ready to share my life story. Actually, not really ready because spontaneous speech is good for real life communication, and that is why it is always something different. It can't be always the same when you start speaking, and that is why, just in order not to forget everything I want to say, I have a plan, some keywords, and these photos from my Instagram will help me to tell the story. So there are a lot of people who move to other countries looking for better life and opportunities, and um, it really makes a change and gives them a chance to try out something new and improve the way that they live. And for me, it is a bit different. There are a lot of countries that seem to provide people with better facilities for life, better options for fruitful career shift, better climate, or better healthcare system, and a lot of people think that the grass is always green on the other side of the hill. But for me, moving to another country means just to start everything from the very beginning. And I've spent more than 10 years climbing to the top of the career ladder, and I don't want to end up doing it once again. It was a tough way, and now I'm at my prime, and I want just to have time of my life. So, looking back on my life, I have nothing to regret about, and I don't want to change anything. So this is my working place. I have just two zones in my office, one for playing and one for studying. And there were hard times surviving when I had to live on a tight budget, and um, like there were times when I worked overtime, uh, just was sleep deprived and stressed out. But now it's time for me to enjoy life and take the advantages of the opportunities. And I wouldn't like to move from my hometown and be cut off from my family and friends. Getting through to them on holidays and visiting them once or twice a year is just not enough for me. Uh, you know, um, mm, I would feel homesick and I would be pissed off if I had to live somewhere else. I like being busy and have a lot of things to do, so everyday routine doesn't bother me or doesn't get on my nerves. And now a convenient work-life balance makes my life much easier. Being able to take a break and chill out, sometimes having a blast with my friends, take part in some different courses and seminars. All these things maintain my interest in life and keep me from burning out. I'm never bored, stiff, and a lazy way of life is not for me, because there are so many things that and so many interesting places to experience. And having no desire to move to another country doesn't mean I don't feel like traveling. I should say that a couch potato lifestyle is not for me, and I'm addicted to traveling, and there are so many places I want to visit and see all the famous attractions and natural wonders, and all the famous attractions and popular landmarks with my own eyes. And as an English teacher, I am head over heels in love with England, and there are some photos from my trip to
and women
England.
have their statues here. This is Nelson Mandela on the right here.
We are on a field
On the
trip
left-hand side is Abraham
next
Lincoln.
to Big Ben.
And then we turn and we see Big Ben. Big Ben is actually just and women have their statues here. This is Nelson Mandela.
And I started traveling not so long ago when I was when I turned 30, but I started teaching when I graduated from pedagogical college when I was 20. And as a young teacher with no experience of traveling abroad, can you imagine how embarrassed I was when my students asked me if I had been to England or if I had seen some other cities or countries, if I had friends somewhere abroad. I would rather melt into the ground than answer that all these questions. So I did my job abroad, signed up for different courses, and took part in various seminars and attended conferences because I wanted to become a real professional, and I was dreaming about running my own school and mm, just I wanted my English courses to become catching on, and I did my best because I wanted people to hear about my lessons through the grapevine, as I consider people's recommendations the best advertisement. Well, in 2013, I finally set off for England with a group of my students, and it's just a dream came true. We were really excited, and I was really blissful. Just this task makes me look back and remember the trip to England. We were looking forward to this trip, and we were full of emotions. It was a great experience for us, and I hope that I will have an opportunity to visit England again. This is one more video from the park, an amusement park. Oh gosh. Really great for my students, but it was a nightmare for me when I tried out these rollerblades. And going to England is a good way to pick up the language. It is everywhere, and you have to speak when you just want to buy something, when you drop in a shop or drop in the nearest cafe. This photo was taken next to the Westminster Abbey, and when you look for souvenirs for your friends and relatives, a great photo from the museum, Madame Tussauds, and that is the place where we stayed, a school residence, and we had fun. The weather was very sunny, and was great, and very big territory, good rooms, comfortable, very good food in the school canteen, so we really liked it. And I've been to England twice, and our first trip was 5 years ago, and it was November. The weather was miserable, so we had to, put on warm clothes and take our umbrellas with us but actually nothing could spoil our emotions. And the second trip was in 2014, and it was in summer, and we could really enjoy the sun and the weather and all the field trips. That is London Eye. See, crowds of people. Actually, I don't like it so much, and it was so difficult to, you know, to look after all my students in these crowds of people. Uh, some gardens next to the Windsor Castle. Uh, some scary pictures from what else do we have here? Okay, and by the way, I visited more cities in England than in Russia. I remember just looking around London and Oxford and Bromsgrove and Stratford upon Avon. Actually, there was a picture of Stratford upon Avon. Where it is? That is in Stratford upon Avon, the birthplace of William Shakespeare. And visiting different schools abroad is a good chance for me to find out something new and to come up with some good ideas for my lessons. And actually, after I visited England, I decided to conduct summer camps with my students. Here in Krasnoyarsk, and now every summer in August we have a special summer program, just the 2 last weeks of August, and it helps the students just to get ready for the beginning of the school year. This photo was taken from the first trip abroad. My daughter here is just 7, and that is her cousin. We stayed in Samui Island for a month. I was full of emotions, and it was really great. So these photos are from our summer camps. We have also a lot of field trips, excursions. This photo was taken at the airport when we set off for Prague two or 3 years ago. I don't remember exactly actually. Yeah, Prague is beautiful. There are some pictures from Prague, different castles, old churches, and this summer we are also going to Prague to study English. The museum. Railway station museum. Railway museum. It shows you the Prague Zoo. Very beautiful. The best that I have ever seen and visited. So Kira was 10 when we went to Prague, and it was her first English summer camp abroad. So that is our group where we had lessons, and our teacher from Great Britain. So there were some Americans and British teachers there, and that is our pajama party just at the end of the course. We had a party, a concert that children prepared for us with the teachers. They sang songs in English, told different poems, congratulated each other, and it was great fun. Mm, After our trip to Prague, I returned full of ideas and created a great summer camp for my students. We had different projects and field trips and some great activities. Mhm. But can you imagine when I first went to England, I was really taken aback and confused when I heard real life conversation. I could understood almost nothing, and I remember that feeling, like how come I've been studying English for 20 years and it turned out that real language differs from the course book exercises, no matter how great and effective they seem. Even if you are a straight A student and do well in class and just keep up with your classmates and take private lessons and pass all your exams, real life experience and immersion in the culture is what you really need and what really makes sense. And so the year 2013 and 2014, I remember, was very fruitful for traveling, and I had 4 trips within a year. And I remember that time when I started thinking like, oh gosh, it's the time of my life. I earn enough to be able to travel as often as I want, and thank heavens. But then something changed. Dollar became almost twice more, and we had to put up with it. In spite of the fact that I never consider spending money on traveling and education as a waste, I couldn't afford myself travel abroad as often as I wanted, and this like race for the better life started again for me. And there are some photos from our summer camp program. We do different projects, go cycling, have some parties. That is our zoo in Krasnoyarsk, and that photo was taken on the 1st of September, a couple of years ago. And then there was a 2-year break when I didn't have a chance to travel abroad. Because when you raise children and all the expenses are on you, just you can't afford yourself just to spend money on the things that you want just to enjoy life. You have some responsibilities and duties, and that's it. And then there were better times, and last year we had a chance to go to Turkey with my daughter for holidays, and I suppose this year is the best for me because I had a lot of trips. So the year started with the trip to China. We set off there for New Year holidays and with my husband. Then there was a seminar in Krasnoyarsk with Andrew Walkley about teaching lexically, and then just in a month we went to Novosibirsk for a weekend because I had a seminar there about teaching teens. It was so great. I liked it so much, and you know, the seminar cost 4,000 rubles for a day, but for me it cost 20,000 rubles because I had to get to Novosibirsk by car and rent an apartment there for a couple of days. So that is why it cost quite a lot. And then I returned to Krasnoyarsk for a couple of days, and on the 2nd of May I set off for Moscow to visit my bosom friend, and I spent 5 days there, enjoying every day. We had different excursions, a great boat trip, and we went to a beautiful park, and I had a chance to meet Julia, the participant from the course Life Story, and then I returned to Krasnoyarsk, and now I have just 2 weeks to work before the end of the school year, and then we are going to start doing up my office. My husband is going to help me with it, and in June we will have one more trip to Tomsk for 3 or 4 days together with my husband, because he is the one who drives. I'm mm, I'm afraid to go to another city by car on my own, and we have already booked an apartment in Tomsk, and there will be a seminar 3 days with Tom Wiseman. I met him here in Krasnoyarsk when I attended a seminar teach for exams, and I liked his speech a lot, and that is why when I just came across an advertisement of this course I signed up, and I am sure that I will like it. What else? The story seems to be endless. Then in July we are going to Prague, and this time I have quite a big group of people with me, 8 students. Hope there won't be any problems with, like alcohol, cigarettes, something like that. Uh, Great pictures from England. It's Stratford upon Avon, and this is London. For me, actually, being able to travel like 4 or 5 times a year is enough. I don't want to move anywhere. I like my hometown. I'm proud of my school, and I have a lot of plans for future, and that is why I just enjoy every single day. That's it. So I think that's all.